Hey guys, thanks Scotland for showing me that I was late. I thought I was streaming. YouTube's kind of weird. I have to start the stream on two places. So thanks Scotty for getting me started. I was streaming for or I thought I was streaming for like 10 minutes. I started at time, but I guess it didn't work. So thanks Scotty for showing me that I was not here. So, um glad to have you guys here. Sorry that I was late. I thought I was on time, but I forgot to press go live on YouTube. So I'm here now. Glad to be with you all. Chloe, Scotty, um, Josh. So glad that you guys are here. I was already getting into the lesson, but again, I got to get back to the beginning, okay? Because I thought I was streaming, but I wasn't. So good to have you guys here. Thanks, Scotty, for getting me to press live. Thank you for checking. Okay, so now I'm all in a bustle because I gotta kind of reset. Okay, so let's get started in chapter 13, but let's first review what we talked about last time. Okay, so what did we learn in chapter 12? Who can help me out? Well, let's scroll through and let's see if this can jog any memories. So chapter 12, in the Middle Ages. So Scotty, let's remember to keep everything focused on the lesson, and then after the lesson is done, we can talk about other things, okay? So chapter 12, women in the Middle Ages. So this is what we learned about. We learned about that women in the Middle Ages also had rough life just like the men. Women had to work in the gardens, they had to work in the fields. So we scroll down, here's a picture of a woman working in the land, taking care of animals. The women had hard lives. They had poor health because hygiene wasn't, a lot of hygienic stuff wasn't discovered or known about back then. So childbirth was very dangerous. We learned about convents. And convents is where women go to live for religious purposes. We learned about monasteries where men go to live for religious purposes and become monks. In convents, they become nuns. We learned about a specific woman, Hildegard of Bingen, who became a very important religious person. She started having religious visions when she was a child. She was very important. We learned about trade and learning. And it was hard to take care of stuff by their serfs. Yep, so by themselves. Yep. That's right, Scotty. They had tough times. We learned about universities where men were only able to go back then. Times have changed. And then we learned about how women got their education if they went to convents. And that's how they were able to learn. Okay, so William the Conqueror. Yeah, it was hard times. So let's begin chapter 13. I'm first going to scroll down to page 95, okay? So looking at this picture, class, Scotty, Josh, Chloe, anybody else that's here or those that are watching the replay, we see this English channel. So first I want you to think about how do bodies of water separate regions or separate land? And then how do you think bodies of water can also connect regions of land? All right. How can a body of water separate a land, or how do you think it can link them together? Well, we can see that water physically separates land. We can see that the water is separating England from France, so it physically separates them. How do you think water can link lands together? So I just talked about how a body of water, such as an ocean or a canal or a river, can separate lands or regions by physically separating them. How do you think bodies of water can link regions or link lands together? Well, water separates by creating a barrier, yet it links by providing a way to transport goods and people between places, right? So during this chapter, we're going to learn about this English Channel right here on the page, on this map on page 95. And we're going to learn about one of its most famous crossings. So one way that it linked the regions around it. All right, so let's be on the lookout for that. Now let's call attention to the big question and read it with me, okay? The big question is, how did William's successful invasion of England affect the English language? So as we read, we're going to learn about William, also known the William the Conqueror, as we can read the chapter title. And he's going to have an invasion of England. And let's figure out how that affected the English language, okay? All right. So chapter 13, William the Conqueror. Read and follow along with me, okay? Let's go on this journey. William of Normandy in the 1000s or 1000s, in a part of France called Normandy. And if I scroll down really quick, right here is Normandy, north of France. Right here is Normandy. So William was born in Normandy. There lived an 8-year-old boy named William. One day, William was a happy child, the son of a powerful lord, the Duke of Normandy. Okay, so the Duke is a male noble who rules a small territory. So this was our first vocabulary word. And remember that you can get extra credit for chapter 13 if you submit a vocabulary word. Submit a sentence using one of the vocabulary words from the chapter 13. You have to create the sentence on your own. You can't copy a sentence from the book. And then remember that to do the vocabulary, use the vocabulary definitions from the book, okay? Don't just Google and copy and paste a Google definition. Using the definitions from the book will help me know that you're actually in the book reading, okay? All right, so William was born to the Duke of Normandy, but the next day, when William was 8, his father died. So young William was now named Duke. Now you might think that being a Duke would be fun, but not for William. What it meant for him was that other powerful lords in Europe, men who had been family friends, now wanted to kill him. Now why do you think people wanted to kill William? Huh? While you're thinking about that, here is the Fallacy Castle in Normandy, where William the Conqueror was born. All right, so let's continue to read. Why did people want William dead? What was going on? Why would these friends want William dead? The world of politics in the Middle Ages was often a violent place. All right, so politics, the activities of a leader or ruler running a government. So as his father's oldest son, William was the rightful duke, but that didn't stop others from trying to kill him to become the duke themselves. That's right, Chloe. Yeah, they probably wanted the power. They wanted to become the duke. That's good. So, William survived thanks to the help from the King of France. Why is this story important? Because William, Duke of Normandy, later fought and won one of the most important battles in the Middle Ages, the Battle of Hastings. This battle changed the history of British Isles and helped create the English language you are reading now. So the Battle of Hastings, which was led by the Duke of Normandy, changed the history of British Isles and helped create the English language. Yeah, there's no vocabulary word, Chloe, for this. I mean, there is core vocabulary for this lesson, but I just don't have that phrase up yet, the chat command. All right, so the Battle of Hastings. So let's learn about this battle that changed the history of the British Isles and helped create the English language right now that we use. So the Battle of Hastings. The English Channel is the body of water that flows between England and Europe. Right here, the English Channel. Normandy lies along the European side of the English Channel. Today, Normandy is a region of France, but in the 1000s, it was a duchy. A territory ruled by a duke. The King of France had little real power there. In 1066, the King of England died without any children. Several people claim that they should be the next King of England. One was an English lord named Harold, who had himself crowned king. Another person with a claim to the throne was William, Duke of Normandy. So a claim of the throne is an idiom or a phrase, the right to be the ruler. So William had the right to be the ruler. In late September 1066, William and his army of knights and foot soldiers crossed the English Channel. Okay. King Harold was in the north of England, having just defeated another king who wanted to rule England. He and his army marched south. They met William and the Norman forces on October 14th, 1066, near the coastal town of Hastings. Right here is the Battle of Hastings. See it right there. So the English soldiers were in a line on a hillside. At first, the English soldiers turned back the Norman charge, but when the Normans retreated, the English soldiers broke ranks and chased them. This was just the chance William needed. He turned on the disorganized English army, and defeated them. King Harold was killed in the battle. William marched his army to London, the capital, and was crowned king. William, Duke of Normandy, was now King William I of England. He is perhaps better known as William the Conqueror. And conqueror is a person who takes control of a territory after an invasion. So they crossed Normandy and crossed the English Channel, and here is the Battle of Hastings. And now King William was the king of England. So in 1066, William of Normandy and King Harold fought at the Battle of Hastings. All right, so remember that date, 1066, the Battle of Hastings. Okay, so why did William and Harold go to war with each other? Why did this war happen? Why did the Battle of Hastings happen, class? What do you think, Scotty, or Chloe, or Josh? Why did William and Harold go to war with each other? What was the purpose? It should just be probably 10 more minutes, Chloe. If you have to go, you're fine. You can go. You can watch the replay later. So the reason they went to battle, William and Harold went to battle. Yeah, there you go, Chloe. Good job. They wanted to be king. They wanted to be king of England. Good job. All right, so William was called William the Conqueror because he won. Do you think Harold would have been called Harold the Conqueror if he won instead? Probably not, because Harold was from England, unlike William was from Normandy and came and conquered. It wasn't a foreign place, but who knows, maybe. Here's a picture of the English soldiers formed a defense line. All right, let's continue to read. A new language. William's conquest of England has had a big impact on our lives, your life and my life, even for those of us who have never even visited England. Before William arrived, most people in England spoke Anglo-Saxon or Old English. This was the language of the Germanic people who had arrived in England after the fall of the Roman Empire. The Normans spoke an early form of French. At first, the common people of England spoke Anglo-Saxon, and all the nobles, most of whom were the relatives and friends of William the Conqueror, spoke French. So nobles spoke French. Over time, the French and Anglo-Saxon languages blended. This is why English includes a mixture of French and Germanic words. So it is with cow and beef. When we talk about cows, we are using a Germanic word that the Anglo-Saxon people used before William came to England. When we sit down to eat beef, we are using a French word that was brought to England after William's invasion. Okay, so this impact of the Battle of Hastings and William being king of England has had an impact on what we say. Yeah, it is cool, Chloe. So historical records, all right? So record is our next vocabulary word, which is evidence of events from the past. So the Middle Ages were a long, long time ago. There are many people and events that we know very little about because there are very few surviving records or evidences of the past. But we know a good deal about England in the time of William the Conqueror because several important historical records have survived. Okay, so let's look at this picture really quick before we keep on reading. Let's read the caption though. It is believed that one of William's brothers ordered the creation of the Bow Tapestry as a record of the Battle of Hastings. Because of the tapestry, which is actually an embroidered cloth, we can picture a battle that happened almost 1,000 years ago. All right, so one of the important historical records that survived was this Bayeux Tapestry and the Doomsday Book. All right, so two of the important historical records that survived during this time was the Bayeux Tapestry and the Doomsday Book. Sometimes when a new ruler takes over, he leaves things pretty much as they were before. Not William. He started to change England from top to bottom. William threw many of the Anglo-Saxon lords off their lands and estates and replaced them with his Norman friends who had fought with him at Hastings. William wanted to know more about his new country. He ordered that a list be made of all the people and valuable items in the kingdom. The king's agents went all over England, visiting even the smallest villages and most distant settlements. They recorded the names of the lords and their lands. They recorded the number of small landowners, knights, and serfs serving each feudal lord. They counted pigs, sheep, and other livestock and made notes about the forests in each region. If there was a mill or some other business in town, William's agents made note of it. They even kept a record of how many beehives there were in each region. Wow, can you imagine trying to count the beehives? So the Doomsday Book is this list of all the people and valuable items in William's kingdom, all right? So we have the Bayeux Tapestry, which talks about how they conquered, or the Battle of Hastings, and this Doomsday Book is kind of what was in, all that was in William's kingdom, all right? So let's learn a little bit more about it. So the Doomsday Book, this survey of William's kingdom was called the Doomsday Book. It took several years and a lot of money to finish it. Yeah, I bet it took a long time to count all those beehives, the names, the landowners, the knights, and the serfs. But it was worth the expense, for the book let William know exactly who lived where. It allowed him to keep track of all the rent and taxes that were due to him. The picture looks funky. Yeah, it does look a little funny. It's embroidered, right? So what is a tax? A tax is money collected from citizens by the government. So we pay taxes today, and William had this Doomsday Book to keep track of who owed him taxes. But the Doomsday Book was more about more than taxes and money. William made sure that every lord listed in the book swore an oath of loyalty to him as King of England. Anybody who did not cooperate with William's agents or refused to swear loyalty to the king was severely punished. The Doomsday Book is a treasure for historians of the Middle Ages. It gives an accurate picture of a feudal kingdom more than 900 years ago. For example, we know that there were 2 million people living in England during the reign of William I. Wow, that's crazy. So here is a picture of the Doomsday Book. Let's check this out. So this shows the number of oxen, plows, villagers, woodlands, and lands that were counted in a particular place. That's pretty cool. Okay, this is our last little section right here, right? So how did this book get its name? Yeah, why was it called the Doomsday? is actually an old-fashioned spelling of the word doomsday. Might have been domesday. Sorry, I've been saying doomsday, but it's domesday. So domesday is the old-fashioned spelling of the word doomsday. So it is probably pronounced doomsday. Some people think it was called that because who did not cooperate with the king's agents were killed, but this is not the real reason. In fact, it was probably called the Doomsday Book because Doomsday is the biblical day of judgment and accounting. That was exactly what William's agents did when they arrived in town. They counted up the people and judged how much everyone and everything was worth. Right? Hey, that is it, guys. Pretty quick, short lesson. Before we end, let's review the big question, okay? The big question is, how did William's successful invasion of England affect the English language? All right, so some key points is, what was the language like before William arrived? What did they speak in England before? All right, I'll give you a hint. It's also called Old English, but that's not the proper, or that's not the main term that it was called. What did the Normans speak? And then over time, what did the language do? Did they become like one another? Did they kind of blend? Did they become a mixture of each? So those are some hints and some points that you should have in your answer to your big question, okay, to get full credit. But that is it. I have recorded, there will be recorded lessons of chapter 14 and 15 for this week. It was awesome to have you here, Chloe, Scotty, Josh. Thanks for joining. Those that are watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed reading chapter 13 with me. This is our last week before Thanksgiving, okay, guys? So do whatever you need to make sure you stay on top of your schoolwork or get caught up, okay? Set a schedule. Even though you're at home, set a schedule for work or for working and doing your schoolwork. It's totally fine that you're watching Merlin at home, Chloe. I hope you're enjoying it. But yeah, just make sure you're balancing entertainment with schoolwork, okay? If you're behind in school, do a little bit less of entertainment. You can still watch a show or play games, but only do that after you get schoolwork done, okay? And I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving. If I don't see you guys, if you do have questions about any assignments, please reach out to me or come into the open office hours conference call on Thursday, and I will see you guys either then or in the next video. Okay. Yep, school first. That's right. Oh, you're not gonna be at school for 2 weeks? You heading out of town, Scotty? Well, luckily for you, school is basically online for our class. So even though you're not at school, you can still do school, which is kind of cool. And that just rhymed. How come you're not going to school, Scotty? Then if you're not going to be out of town. Wait, you are going out of town, or you're not going out of town? You're not going out of town. So how come you're not going to school then? And thanks for coming in, Josh and Chloe. You guys can obviously hang out and chat, or you can go and get some more schoolwork done, or take a break, take a lunch break or whatever, and then yeah, it's okay, Josh. I mean, yeah, it definitely stinks because you're behind, but you can get caught up. You just got to set a schedule, okay, buddy? You know, like set a, work, do schoolwork for 45 minutes and then take a break. Watch a TV show for 20 minutes or play a game, for 20 minutes, and then do schoolwork for 30 to 45 minutes and then take a break. Or you can do schoolwork for a couple hours and then take, an hour break. You just got to set a schedule. You just got to stick to it and you'll get caught up. You're not coming to school because cases of COVID is high, and I have to be careful with my dad and Nana and my other Nana. Yeah, no, it's smart. I mean, COVID's crazy. Not, fully we don't, we don't have a way to control it. So besides self distance or social distancing, and that's the key. So staying home is, especially with the holidays coming up, like you definitely don't want to catch it and go hang out with family. That would not be fun. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take a little break. I've been working all morning since like 8 or 9. So I'm gonna take a break, eat some lunch, and then get some work done. Yeah, you be safe too, Scotty. See you, Chloe. Yeah, Robin Hood's good. I did a lot of reading for Robin Hood this morning. I finished chapters 1 through 5 for you guys, so you can listen and follow along. And then I started doing the recordings for the next week. Take a nap. Don't make sure it's too long, For me, I'm a morning person, so I get all my good stuff done in the morning, and that night I get kind of lazy, so I got to get all my work done before like 5, and then I can relax. It is long. It doesn't seem as long as King Arthur though, but yeah, just one chapter a day gets you done with the 5 chapters. I think Robin Hood's just 20 chapters, so we're just doing 5 chapters a week for 4 weeks. Just do a chapter a day, and we get caught up. You're a night owl? Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what works for you, like you set a schedule around when you can work the hardest and be most focused. That's the key. If it's morning, afternoon, or night, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, see you, Chloe. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I'm gonna head out too, guys. Thanks for coming in. I'll see you later. And I'll make sure next time we have a live stream that I remember to press live, go live. Okay, take care, guys.